Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what to do, everybody? It's your boy, John Altidor, Pro Fan Sports Podcast, back at you with another one of my boys, Vlad, Barry, and today we got a 13-year NFL vet who actually played a couple years with the Patriots, a few years with the Patriots, and won 2 Super Bowls, so he's a Super Bowl champion as well, and that is number 38, Tyrone Poole. How you doing, Tyrone?
I'm doing good, guys. How you guys doing? Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it, man. You know, it's not every day we get to talk to, Super Bowl veterans, Super Bowl champions, veterans at 13 years, man. You know, you're a legend around here. How's everything going, man?
Hey, all is well. Thank God. And, hello to all of the Boston faithfuls, whether you are a Patriots or Red Sox or Celtics or Bruins, Boston College. Oh yeah, man, it's good to let my face be shown in the Boston area and also around this world where you guys are greatly being broadcasted. So thank you again.
Yes, sir, man. So you played for 8 NFL teams, right? I mean, as we can see in the back right there, was like 2.
I know, maybe a little too high right there. You said
too high. What is it? 7?
You said 8 teams?
8. Or did I count one twice?
No, you probably counted some twice.
Yeah, maybe Denver.
And then I'm gonna straighten you up on that as well. It's 6 teams, but I started. There's a difference when you just play and then you start. A lot of guys.
Yep.
I started for all the teams that I played for. So you know what that says? That says that each team, when they come into the training camp, like even right now, they're in training camp and they're trying to find the 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, and the best 11 guys on special teams that can help them win a Super Bowl. So every team that I played for, I started for. And that basically they're saying this guy can help us get that Lombardi trophy. So there's a difference between playing for teams and starting for teams.
Absolutely. And we know you definitely started for the Patriots, with that first Super Bowl. What was that, 2004?
Yeah, 2003 season and then 2004. Come on, man, you up in Boston now. You're supposed to be knowing all this now.
Well, 2003 and 2004, it's like the same kind of season, It goes into 2004.
I got to set you straight now. Come on now. Right, 2003 season, it goes into
it goes into 2004, yeah.
2003, 2004, Super Bowl was played in 2004, but it's the 2003 season, and 2004 goes in 2005. Even though the Super Bowl was played in 2005, it's for the 2004 season. So,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome, man. Well, I think I saw you play. Well, I know you played for a few seasons here. 2003 through 2005.
Yeah, 2003, 2006. Yep.
Yeah. And then you moved on to Indy, I believe.
No, Rob Ryan actually, go back. I actually could have stayed in New England longer, just like I could have stayed in Carolina longer, and Indianapolis longer. It wasn't the fact that of how should I say, it wasn't ability, because if it was ability, then no other team would try to pick me up. I go back to Carolina, coming from an HBCU. People ask me what was the toughest transition coming from an HBCU, historical Black college and university. You don't have too many of those up north. They're all down south. and out west, Texas Southern and Grambling and Jackson State and Kentucky State. Central State is up in Ohio, but it's not too many. I think Fisk, where's Fisk? Fisk may be up north, but most of the HBCUs are down south. FAMU, Fort Valley State, and Alabama State and stuff like that, South Carolina State. But people asking me what is the toughest transition from an HBCU to the NFL. It wasn't talent. It wasn't talent. I was just as fast and just as strong as those guys, but where I was kind of immature. It was the mentality, the mental, understanding the actual game. A lot of those guys came from colleges where they were already running pro style defenses and the terminology was already given to them. And here I am coming from a HBCU and we play man to man. So that's why you used to see even in the past and even now, you see most of the guys that get drafted from the defensive side, corners, they can play man to man with the best of them. I think Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie was the last first round draft pick coming from an HBCU. Dominique went to Tennessee State. And I think he was in 2009, I believe. And then I came out in 2005. 1995. That was the last time. And then before me, it was 1976. A defensive back from Jackson State. I forgot his name. I looked all that stuff up because it was brought to my attention what I had done in 1995, being the 22nd pick overall. But also, I just have to play on this because I want people to understand it's not about me. And when I tell these stories, and it's about, it doesn't matter where you go. It's what you do where you are. If you got talent, people gonna find you no matter where you are. I use the example of Tyrese. I'm like the dude on the back of a doggone bus singing Coca-Cola. Next thing you know, he got albums, movies, and everything like that.
Baby boy.
There you go, baby boy. So if you got talent, man, they're gonna find you. And but to come from an HBCU and be the first ever defensive NFL selection in Carolina Panther history, coming from an HBCU, I'm like, that's phenomenal, man. I'm like,
yeah.
Sometimes I pinch myself, man. I'm like, what was I doing? Or how was I playing? What was my abilities in college, man? Because sometimes when you do stuff and you do it naturally, you're like, people say, whoa, did you realize what you just did? You're like, what? I'm like, you don't ask.
You were in the moment.
Exactly. You don't say, hey, Superman, whoa, did you just see how you flew from here to there? You're like, what you talking about? It's what I do. Coming from the HBCU, going to Carolina, it was the playbook, man. And, they threw me in at nickel, which that's tougher than playing outside. And it was tougher on me mentally because I had to learn the technique for an outside corner. And then on third down, I had to go inside and forget what I learned about corner to a point, and now understand what it's like to cover that slot, what my responsibilities are if the ball is run. I got to run fit because they taking out a linebacker, putting me in. Taking out a linebacker, dude, and putting in a kid 5'9", 188, 190 in that nickel. So that must tell you how tough I was when it came to playing the run and tackling. So again, when I look back on stuff, I'm like, the toughest thing was the mental. And if I had learned my mental, going back now to talk about the question about staying longer with teams, each team that I played for, it was a reason. It wasn't athletically. In Carolina, I just think they said, you know what, man, this kid's not catching on. He's not catching on, man. He's not catching on. And Eric Davis, when he came to Carolina, and that's why I wished that I had not gone to a different team, but had some veterans that could have taken me up under their wings and said, hey, we're going to take this rookie. Boy, you got some phenomenal ability. Now we're going to make you understand the game up here. what, are you kidding me? I'm like, man, just think if I'd have had a Deion Sanders, I came in my rookie year, or Eric Allen, or whoever, at that time, Aaron Glenn, or Aeneas Williams, and Darryl Green.
Yeah.
I had them dudes sit down and say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to play this game called the NFL at defensive back. With your abilities, and you learn this, oh my goodness, man, you're going to tear this thing up. But I didn't have that. So there's a lot of like playing bad golf, man. I'm like, I'm learning as I go. It's almost like a marriage, like a marriage. You get in a marriage, they say marriage is mostly training, on the job training. When a man and a woman come together, it's like you got two people trying to learn one another. And that's what it was in Carolina. And I think when Eric Davis got there, he saw that he wanted, he was trying to be my that mentor. But I'm now trying to unlearn all these bad techniques and pick up on what he's telling me, which is he learned from Deion Sanders. He learned from Ronnie Lott. I'm like, what? So now I'm trying to
great.
Yeah. So now I'm like, it's slowing me down even more, because now I'm like, stuff that I thought I knew, I had to get rid of it. And so it's making me slow down even more, even though my speed and quickness was still there, And so Carolina, I think they just said, hey, the kid is not picking it up. We want to keep him, but we're going to bring somebody else in and help him. Maybe, we move Tyrone to nickel, and then we bring in a corner because we don't want to get rid of the dude. He can return punts. He can cover. We know he can tackle. He's a phenomenal athlete. But my agent said, hey, you know what? Let's ask them to trade us, because if they keep you there and you play nickel, then basically it's like acting. It's like acting. You could get stereotyped in acting, like
typecasted.
Yep, Samuel Jackson. Anytime somebody think of Samuel Jackson, you can't. He always screaming to a point. So do you think you can put Samuel Jackson in a love scene? He'd be like,
it looks weird.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
It looks weird.
Exactly. So in a nutshell, rounding it up, coming to a close. So my agent said, you know what? Let's ask for a trade. Now, Bill Polian had left Carolina and took over the GM in Indianapolis. So he said, you know what? I know what Tyrone can do. I'm gonna bring Tyrone to Indianapolis. I'm trying to resurrect the Colts organization, which he did. He resurrected, built a dynasty there, just like he did in Buffalo. And then when I get there, I'm battling with Jim Mora, the father, Jim Mora Jr. coach here in Atlanta, but his father, he was old school, man. So that was a bump in the road for me. And then in New England, I could have played longer there, but I had injured my ankle. And Randall Gay had the same type of injury. And Randall Gay was younger than me. And I had the same injury, inversion, eversion sprain. That's when you roll your ankle both ways, Thank God I didn't tear it severely. But the doctor did tell me that it can heal, but I have to stay off of it. Now, the Patriots wanted me to have surgery. In sports, surgery is the fastest way to get you back on the football field. And I said, nah, man, I'm like, I don't want to have surgery. The doctor said, it can heal. And I tried to come back. But then, I had another injury. So I guess, with the Patriots, they're like, okay, hey, this is how we do it. This is how we roll. And, I'm like, hey, I understand that, I'm like, but I got to look out for my body, and I think that kind of bumped the heads a little bit. And then, okay, boom. All right, Patriots way, And so then I went on to follow Rob Ryan out to Oakland.
Yeah.
Linebackers coach at the time with the Pats. So all of the teams I played for, it wasn't that, my abilities wasn't good enough. It's like it was something, mentally in Carolina, in Indianapolis, it was a head coach that we just kept bumping heads. And then when I get to the Patriots, it's an injury that I could have come back from, which I did. But in the NFL, there is no you can't wait 1 year to heal. You got to gotta have surgery. If surgery can get you back, then we're gonna have surgery. And I didn't want to have no plates. I didn't want to have no screws, nothing in my body. And praise be to God. I'm like, I have no screws, I have no plates. The only serious injury I ever had was an open dislocation to my pinky finger. And for those who don't know what that means, open dislocation, that means the bone popped through the skin. It popped through the skin. And that actually happened in Indianapolis, trying to pick off a Peyton Manning pass to Reggie Wayne. But other than that, I had a meniscus tear with the Patriots. But other than that, man, God, my skills, I was a man-to-man corner. So that's why I think even to this day, people would say that myself and Tyler, Rodney Harrison, we had a pretty good doggone secondary. Like all we did was play man-to-man. We played man-to-man, cover two, man-to-man, cover two, man-to-man, two deep, man under. But we were dog one. That's what they call. We get in the huddle, dog one, ready, break. 34, whatever, dog one. That was 10. That mean man-to-man. I mean Willie McGinnis and Mike Vrabel. They coming out the edge, man. And big Ted Washington and Richard Seymour, they pushing the pocket and
Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And Tyler and Sante Samuel, Eugene Wilson at safety, Rodney Harrison, strong, and they would blitz him at times. And, so yeah, we had a great defense in 2003, man. We finished very high in the top 10 in pass and against the run. So, but yeah, it was fun days up in New England.
Yeah, y'all went 14-2 that season.
Yeah.
All right, and y'all won the Super Bowl and then went back after that. And you were a starter in that 14-2 team.
The crazy thing about that 14-2, we started out 1 and we finished. We started 1-2. We lost Buffalo the first game. That's with the Lawyer Malloy incident.
That's a 31-0 game.
31.
That's a 31-0 game. Yeah.
To us, man. We lost that game, and I forgot who we played next, but then we ended up losing to the Washington at the time, the Washington Redskins in Washington. And so we were like 1-2, man. And shoot, the guys, Teddy Bruschi and all them guys, man, they're like, hey, because we were supposed to have beaten the Washington football team, but ended up losing to them, man. And we had that meeting, and after that, dude, we went rolling. 19 straight games, so to speak. And I think it could have been 20, but we ended up losing to Pittsburgh because we were like so injury depleted. Tyler was injured, I was injured, but still, yet they were able to still play well, man. Sante stepped in, Randall Gay stepped in. They had Troy Brown going back and forth, man. So, that's how. Yeah. So, but yeah, that Washington game set off back-to-back Super Bowls, man.
Yeah, those were the glory days, in the Patriots dynasty. That's the start right there. In that game you're talking about, Lawyer Malloy gets traded, Rodney Harrison comes in, and you were here for all of that. What was that like?
Yeah, that freeze on you guys? Did you guys
freeze? A little bit. Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't. It was frozen.
No. I said that year, we lost to the Bills 31-0. Lawyer Malloy gets traded, and then Rodney Harrison gets brought in. And that brought a lot of drama around the team, and that's a well-documented story right there. What was it like going through that?
Well, when I first got there, I came in, free agent, and Rodney and I all came in at the same time, free agency. And, I had heard about Rodney. Rodney knew some of the people that I knew. And so anyways, that was my first time ever playing with Rodney. But to see him and Lawyer Malloy, I'm like, two guys kind of cut from the same mold. down in the box type of guy. So you're like, okay, something is going down here. I've been a veteran. I've been in a situation where, again, you got two guys who play the same position, and either they getting paid the same or they have the same type of skills or whatever. Somebody got to go. Somebody got to so that's the nature of the beast in football, man. That's why I tell people, if you can stay around the league for over 6, 7, 8, 10, forget about double digits, but if you can stay in a game where it's like revolving doors, it's like they're looking to replace whoever every year. Because again, just like all 32 teams are in camp now, their first meeting that they had, I bet you, as I'm sitting here talking to you guys today, their head coach stood up and he gave them a welcome to the 2022 whatever camp. Our goal is to get to the Super Bowl. All 32 teams have said that in the first day of the meeting. The sad thing about it, only 2 teams going to get there, and only 1 team dream is going to be fulfilled this upcoming year. So when you bring in 2 guys, Rodney Harrison and myself, and then you got Lawyer Malloy, you're like, okay, hold on, man, what's going on? It looked like a great secondary, on paper, but which one of these guys going to be a free safety? And Lawyer Malloy, he's an in-the-box guy. Rodney's an in-the-box guy. They just signed Rodney. We know Rodney played many years, started with San Diego at the time, the Chargers. So you're like, hold on, this ain't looking too good. Next thing you know, boom, Lawyer Malloy, he's the odd man out. And of course, he was fired up. When we came to Buffalo, it was an emotional game for him. So, he put on a good show for everybody. And the great thing about it as well, we ended up playing Buffalo the last game of the season and beat
them. Got them back. Got them back.
Yeah.
Man. So they beat us the first game 31-0. We come back and beat them the last game with the same score, man. So it's crazy.
That was awesome, man. So you were with the Patriots, in the infancy of this whole dynasty thing, what everybody now knows as the Patriots, and every year we get the debate since Tom Brady left, about who's responsible, Bill Belichick, you were here at the start of Brady, before Brady was Brady, right? And I know you see the debate. Any thoughts on that, and where do you stand on that?
Yeah, it's like this. This is what I tell people. To be honest with you, and even if I did not play and see things happen, like you said, I got there when Tom basically was taking it. He was his second full season as a starter. Yeah. Same thing with Peyton. I was there when Peyton took his first snap as an NFL quarterback. So I saw 2 great quarterbacks, actually take the helm of their teams. And so when you look at Belichick, or was it Tom, again, even if I wasn't there, just being a wise person, it takes both. It takes both. I believe that Belichick, his years in wisdom, because again, being there, these guys would sit there and have meetings. They would have their own meetings, So I'm pretty sure Belichick was pouring into Tom just as much as Tom was pouring into him. And I could just imagine the conversation going like, okay, hey, okay, this is who we're playing. Okay, this is a cover, whatever. Now, this is what that safety's going to do. He's going to come down here. Now, every time he come here, based off of what I've seen, this Belichick talking to Tom, this is what they're going to do. And then he'll probably show him another film. Okay, see, they're doing the exact same thing. Now, when we put them in this situation, you blah, 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 blah. So Bill is drawing up the play. Now, okay, Tom, what do you think? Well, I agree with what you're saying. And I think also we can disguise it if I move my cadence here, or if I do this and I'll look off here, there. Okay, cool, good. So it took both of them. You took someone who knew the game and gave the game to someone who was passionate about their play. And boom, next thing you know, Tom taking everything he learned from Bill, X's and O's, and applying it to his passion of the game. And, so it's like the chicken or the egg, or, it's like the water and the wet. To me, you can't separate them. They come together, and that's what happens when you put greatness together. You put a great right arm and a great left arm, then, man, you could bench whatever, So I don't think it was just the left arm, Tom, doing the pushing. If that's the case, then, the boat would have been kind of like what they say is the 5-man or 7-man sled. If one side is pushing more than the other, then that sled just gonna go around in a circle, But if all 7 guys get off at the same time, or it could be the 5-man sled, they get off at the same time, then that sled is gonna move forward, both sides. And that's what I saw. I saw Tom's play and I saw Bill's play and his coaching, and they moved that sled together, man. But everybody wants controversy because you cannot sell a story. You can't even make a movie without having antagonist, a villain, and a protagonist, a hero. Now you can take 2 heroes and make them go against each other, but one of them has to turn bad. You look at all the movies like the Marvel, even with the one with the Justice League, with Superman and with Batman and Wonder Woman, with Superman turned bad or whatever, something like that. And then so now he becomes the enemy. So you can have 2 good people, but one of them have to become a villain. And that's what society likes to do, man. That's what the newspapers like to do. They like to create negativity because that's how you sell papers. But at the end of the day, people who know sports, people who know business, it takes a mother and a father to move their kids along. It ain't just the mother doing all the work. It ain't just the father. It's both of them doing their jobs. That's what they say in the Patriots, right? Just do your job.
Do your job.
That's right. Do your job. Bill Belichick.
Tyrone, you mentioned, playing with 2 greats, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Tell us a little bit about playing with those guys and what it was like and what makes them similar, and also some of the differences between those 2 guys.
Yeah, that's a good question. Also, Vladimir, that's a great question. Of course, Peyton, when I got there, it was a toss between Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf. That was the big thing.
Ryan Leaf.
Right.
Yeah, the big arm and the big, and here you go, Peyton, the thin, guy, but he come from a family where his dad played and this and that. So, he come from a football factory. And so Bill Polian ended up going with Peyton Manning. And, I remember, Peyton, when we actually stayed in the same apartment complex in Indianapolis, right off of 86th Street. And I had just gotten to Indianapolis, and that was like one of the best locations to live. It was probably about 20 minutes from practice. The apartment was on 86th Street. The facility, the Coast facility, was on 56th Street. So it wasn't that far to travel. And but just to see Peyton, grow up. And because I'm like, when we played our first game against Philadelphia, first game, but there's a game we played against Philadelphia Eagles. And man, the defense, we're trying to gel, new people, new coordinator. So we get off the field, man. Sometimes we go 6-play drives, 8-play drives, but finally we get off the field and get to the sideline. You're breathing hard. You go to get a squeeze or whatever, or drink whatever. You take your helmet off, and next thing you go to sit down, man, they say, defense, defense, defense. You're like, what's going on? Defense, you're on the field again, man. Peyton threw an interception, man. So, that first more interception, then he did touchdown. But then after that, shoot, man, the rest is history, man. Dude, lighten up the scoreboard, they bring in Edgerrin James, and I was there when they traded Marshall Faulk as well. We played with Marshall in 98. And then in 99, Bill Polian, again, I think he's a great GM, man. He pulled the trigger again. I'm popular, but he said, we're going to trade Marshall Faulk. Man, people were upset, man. They were like, I'm like, hold on, Marshall. I'm like, this dude, you know, he's been the franchise, the face of the franchise, a good running back, man. And, you know, Bill Polian, he's like, hey, we're going to get this kid named Edgerrin James. Edgerrin James from Miami, man. And
Hall of Famer.
there you go.
From the U, yeah.
Peyton, you got Edgerrin, you already had Marvin, you know, and then after that, you get Reggie Wayne, you know, and you got Dallas Clark and, you know, Stokely and all these guys in the slot, man. And, you know, you got Tom Mora, who's a great offensive coordinator, man. And, man, they put that thing together. And even Bruce Arians, you know, he was Peyton's quarterback in '98. So I remember Bruce, man. And, you know, Bruce is a great coach. Love Bruce, man. Laid back, cool, chill. But, yeah, Peyton took off. And then I go and see Tom, you know, the thing that made Peyton, I think, so good is he coming from a football factory. You know, he just ate, slept, drank the game, man. Peyton was more like, he was offensive guy. You know, if there was an offensive style coach who just stayed with the offense, then that would be Peyton Manning. You know, Peyton, hey, defense, go do what you do. Offense, I got the offense. Now you go to Tom, you know, I think Tom is more that guy like, you know, the defense, we like Tom. Because Tom, he actually would come in the times that I would be lifted, because offense and defense, we lifted at different times, right? When the defense is meeting, the offense is usually doing something, whatever, lifting or whatever. And then when the offense is meeting, the defense is lifting, you know? So, but I remember Tom, man, you know, coming in and just gelling with the defense, you know, and, you know, he was just more than just offense, you know? So Tom was like with everybody, you know, but like I say, Peyton, that doesn't take anything away from Peyton, but Peyton was strictly offense. He was an offensive guy. And I think Tom had a little bit of that defensive chip on his shoulder, and he played with that passion too, just like a defensive player, you know, but he was on offense. So, but yeah, two great quarterbacks, man. Can't go wrong with neither one of them.
Absolutely, man.
For sure. Two of the greatest that ever played the game. I mean, two of the GOATs in this generation and really ever. And all those are just fascinating stories that you told about Peyton and Tom. So appreciate you for saying that. Tyrone, I wanted that.
Like I said, I always wondered what it would be like if one of them were at the time in their prime.
Hmm?
They were either one of them was in the AFC and one of them was in the NFC. You know, it would have been like the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers back in the day. You know, the Super Bowls played in the NFC Championship game. You know, the Cowboys and 49ers, whoever won between the 49ers and the Cowboys, when they got to the Super Bowl, they blew out the AFC team.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, if Peyton had been in the NFC, Tom in the AFC, or Tom in the NFC, Peyton in the AFC at the time, would it have been always a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, yeah.
Exactly. So my thing is, I say that to say, Tom kept Peyton from winning as many Super Bowls as Tom did, because it's like every year it was the Colts and the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. So
That's the most nerve-wracking games of all time, man. Every single year.
Oh yeah.
So Peyton could have had just as many Super Bowls as Tom, or it could have been a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady Super Bowl every year.
What do you think was the difference?
The difference?
Why? Yeah. You know, why Peyton couldn't get over the hump when it came to Brady? You know, you think it was like coaching or what?
I don't think it was like Tom versus Peyton. You know, I think it was more, you know, we did a great job against, you know, that offense, against what they were doing. And I always say Belichick is one of the smartest coaches that I played for. Mike Shanahan, I thought Mike Shanahan was a very smart coach. I love Mike Shanahan, great players coach, man. And a lot of other coaches that I've played with, Dom Capers. Dom Capers, who was the defense coordinator with the Steelers, and then he became the head coach of the Panthers. He was a dot the I, cross the T type of guy. And Mike Shanahan was that type of coach. He treats you like a man. He treats you like men, and if you broke the rule, you get punished like a man. So he was a player's coach. I'm gonna let you guys have fun, but you have fun within these walls. Belichick was the type of guy. He's like, he just, this is how we're gonna do it, guys. And if we do it this way, then we should win. Okay. But I think why Peyton struggled against the Patriots against us, and literally, I think in 2003 when we played them, again, we only played like maybe 3 coverages against them, and wherever they aligned, Peyton in the gun, we had a different call. If Joseph Adai or either Edgerrin James, in the beginning, Edgerrin James, and then of course Joseph Adai replaced Edge. But we had certain defenses that we played according to what they did or they lined up. And the other thing that Belichick was good at, he allowed us to disguise. So Peyton is the type of guy, he comes up and he's going to read, Mike, 56, Mike, all this is, I think we might have made him call Omaha so many times. I think Peyton trick his own self. And it's very evident we did that on the last play, the last drive in 2003, when Willie McGinnis walked out on the slot and Peyton audible to what he thought was a bubble. And Willie McGinnis slid back in, boom, crashed that outside and hit Edge right in the backfield, man. And Willie take off his helmet. I'm like, that game there, man, that was a wild game. I'm like, boy, they had an offense, I'm telling you. They had an offense that could put points up. We up like 20-something, 21, 24 to 7 or 10. And man, them joker come back, boy, like that. But the way I think Peyton had his struggles because we disguised on defense. And I don't know if you guys remember or people who are watching, they were big with that stretch. Peyton, he'll stretch out like he's handing the ball off to whoever, then he'll pull it back in, and then Marvin going over, a post or throwing it, whatever. So again, this is just how smart Belichick is, man. And I couldn't figure out why other teams couldn't see the same thing, that the coach played, whoever coach played. But what Belichick made us do, he made us press the corners, press the receivers. And regardless if we're playing zone or man, press Marvin, press Reggie Wayne. And what that did, it allowed the safeties to be able to read whether that stretch was a run or whether that stretch was a play action. Get that stretch, somebody got to come and fill that gap. And then once you realize, oh, it's a run, it's a pass. Marvin, he already done got behind you, and Peyton throwing that thing, whatever. So by us getting in press, receivers are taught. Again, this is understanding the rules of the game. Receivers are taught to either block at first level or second level. Okay, if I'm playing off, then if it's a run, the receiver, the linebacker is now considered first level. The corner is considered second level, right? He can't go down and, block a defensive lineman. So it's a linebacker or safety, okay? So if we bring the corner down and put him in his face, he has to right away tell the safety, I'm blocking this guy, because remember, he has to block first level first. So instead of taking that 2 to 3 seconds of guessing out the way, boom, safety, read the wide receiver. If he lock up on that corner, it's run. Because if he doesn't block that corner got a free shot into the backfield. So that is how we were able to take away that stretch and actually, handicap, the Colts offense a little bit, man. So, we had some great schemes. Sometimes Ty Law would play back at safety. Sometimes I would play back at safety. Rodney Harrison would go up and play corner. So when Peyton came out looking for Rodney, where's Rodney? He's at corner. What are you doing at corner?
Confusing the shit out of him.
Exactly. We're doing the same thing. We playing cover two. But
Yeah.
Belichick allowed us to play it in a way that it just made the offense think just a second slower than they normally would. And then before you know it, we own them. You know, so I think it was just a scheme of the Patriots defense that gave Peyton trouble. See that you guys got some inside locker room stuff, man. Just
yeah, man.
I mean, it was beautiful to watch it, man.
No, I love it. That's amazing, man. This is blowing my mind. I love this. I love this. The inside scoop, man. I appreciate you.
It's all good. I appreciate you guys, man. But yeah, glory days, man. So yeah. So
Barry, I believe you had a question.
Yes, I did. So, Tom, I wanted to ask you, what does the Patriot way mean to you? Because a lot of these plays have different meanings and say different things when they talk about what the Patriot way is. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you think the Patriot way is and how it was when during your time with the Patriots.
You know what? To be honest with you, Barry, there is no Patriots way, man. I think it's just something people just come up with. I think it's a everybody's way. And what I mean by that is, it's just like, if I had to go back and like sum it all up, it's like what Al Davis, the great late Al Davis said, just win, baby. Just win. And to me, that's why I say it's a everybody's way. It just so happens that the Patriots were winning. We're winning. So now what? Winning. It's the winning way. So how do we do it? The winning way. But I tell people, this is what I learned coming from that organization. It is about SOOT. SOOT. It's an acronym, SOOT. And if I had to sum what is the Patriots way, I sum it up with SOOT, the acronym SOOT, S-U-T. Success starts from the top, okay? You have to have an owner who wants to win. And of course, Robert Kraft wants to win. Then he brings in a coach who wants to win, okay? The vision is given to the owner, Robert Kraft. I want to build a dynasty. I want to build a winning team. Then you find a coach that is committed to your vision. Hey, Bill Belichick, he's committed. Okay, I'm going to give this guy free reins, so to speak, to run the vision. Then that head coach, Belichick, goes out and he finds other coaches that are committed to the vision that he wants to bring. And then they go out and find players that are committed. Okay, so SOOT. What is the Patriots way? We all spoke the same language, even though we were individuals. We spoke the same language. We understood what we were trying to achieve, okay? And we thought pretty much the same way in mostly all the situations. So when you can get 11 guys, offense, defense, special teams, to think like that, then you can't help but to have what they call a Patriots way. You can't help but to win. You can't help but to win. I think a lot of teams, they struggle because you got a lot of guys that want to be individuals, even though it's a team game. And I do believe you have to be an individual, but you have to play as a team. I'll give you guys a quick example of what I mean by that. Using Shaq and Kobe. You guys probably haven't heard this before, but God rest Kobe's spirit. But Shaq was speaking at Kobe's funeral, and he says he remember a time when they were playing and Kobe was shooting the ball lights out, man, just shooting everything. And he said, time out, and they, by the bench, and Shaq says, he looked at Kobe, he said, yo, Kobe, pass the ball, man. There's no I in team. And he said, Kobe told him, he said, yeah, I understand. There is no I in team, but there's an M and an E. you know. So it's me fuels the team. So again, when you can find individuals who fuel themselves, but they're committed to the vision of the team, then you can't help but to win, man. That's why a lot of guys come in there, they have great talent, but then they don't mesh with the way the Patriots say that they want their organization run. You know, it's okay to be a me, but don't be an I, you know, and still be a team. So I think that's the Patriots way, man. Speak, understand, and think.
That's a great answer for sure. And, you know, I'm certainly glad to hear that we couldn't agree with you more. You know, that's what the Patriots have been all about, you know, through, you know, ever since Bill Belichick has gotten there. That's, you know, pretty much how they've, you know, run their organization still to this day, and why they've been so successful with the last 25 years or something like that, at least 22. So yeah, no, that perfectly explains that.
I mean, it makes sense because everybody that comes here, it's like, yeah, you just go in and you do your job. You know, it's like nobody really has like a real explanation of what it is. Like just guys doing their job. You know, it's a team thing. So that makes a lot of sense. You know, well, now 2022 season coming up, right? And we are in training camp right now, and it seems like a lot of things are changing around the team. You know, with Mac Jones coming in as a quarterback, Tom Brady no longer here. You know, I'm not sure how much you're following the Patriots. Josh McDaniels left, and now we got Matt Patricia coming in. You know, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge coming in on offense, and you know, a lot of the sports talk is about, you know, the changing of the offense and what that's going to look like, and why they don't have a established offensive coordinator. You know, any thought on that, or, you know, do you think it's just like, you know, everybody's doing their job on the team?
Man, I guess if I can sum it all up, it's like you take, it could be a man or a woman, and they get a divorce, okay? And say the man gets a divorce from the woman, and now he remarries. Does that mean that the whole father and mother tandem changes? No, it's just that you're bringing somebody in to a law that already exists. A man and a woman come together, they create a family, and this is how, you know, they produce and replenish, or whatever you want to call it. So I kind of like see it the same way here. You have a law that has been instituted in the Patriots organization, and they have a divorce with Josh. He moves on, Josh McDaniels, and then marry somebody else. But still, it's a mother and a father raising their family. You know, it's just that now, if it's the father who has the kids, and the wife, the stepmother, whatever you want to call that woman, comes in, she just adapts to the family unit. You know, why reinvent the wheel, as they say? Or it could be vice versa. You got a woman who divorces her husband, she remarries, she got the kids. You don't reinvent the wheel. You just say, okay, hey, this is what we're working with. Okay, we know this, we know that, we know that. All right, we know what has worked. You don't want to deviate too much away from it. And here's a good thing as well. Most of the people, Matt Patricia, he's been there before. You know, it's almost like you marrying your best friend. They already know where the weaknesses and the strengths and the expectation. You know, so I don't expect to see a big change other than terminology. I think you have to change your terminology because when you do, say when the Patriots, I think they play against the Raiders actually in preseason, August 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, but that's going to be like pretty much what the last game of preseason. So really, that one's not really going to count, so to speak. But, you know, they're going to be talking about Josh McDaniels and, Bill Belichick. But really, man, they're trying to get through that game so the Patriots can get ready for the Dolphins week 1, But again, that's a question. I don't think it's going to be a big change. Again, it's just like a mother, father. These are the laws. These are the rules of how we play football here in New England. This is the talent that we got. And if I have to say anything, it won't be the coaches. It'll be the talent on the field. And again, I'll borrow something that the late, great Al Davis said. He said that you can always find coaches, but you can't always find great players. So it's going to be basically the Patriots' success is going to be based off of the talent that they have on that roster. That's where they're going to win or lose. If they don't have the talent, they're going to have a hard season. But if they got the talent and they gel, then yeah, it could be maybe another opportunity for Belichick to say, hey, see, I told you guys I could win without Tom. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting, man.
Hopefully he gets it. Tyrone, we've had you for a while here, and thank you so much for your stories, man. We loved watching you, and thank you for your contributions and, helping our team win some Super Bowls, man, and giving us some of the best times as sports fans in the Boston area, man. So thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I want to say this if I may, man. Life has been good. Life after football, man. Praise God, still healthy. Kids are healthy. My daughter, she runs track, 400, 200. My son, he's in high school, going into his junior year, wide receiver, defensive back. So, we'll see where he goes. It's the mentality. You can have all the genes. Michael Jordan's sons, I'm pretty sure he got his genes, but they didn't have his mentality. So hopefully my kids will get that mentality. But also, I have a book, Ultimate Success in the Game of Life.
Nice.
Book, man. 12 dynamic principles. Anybody out there in Boston or anywhere around the world, if you're trying to learn how to develop the right philosophy for your life or how your words impact your life, your mind, you want to develop a mindset for ultimate success. This book has 12 dynamic principles, man, and principles are just like laws. They will work for anybody that works them. It just so happens that I am one of those people that have experienced the laws, and I know that they work. So I said, you know what? Put it back in a book so people can understand it. This book is not about me. Even though you see me on the cover, it's not about me. I'm only on the cover because I want you to know that it's me. But there are stories in this book that will align with anybody's situation. We all are in the school of life. And the school of life is guaranteed to give us all a test, to give us a trial, and to give us a temptation. The reason why most people fail is because they don't understand the laws and they try to operate totally against what gravity is saying. No, don't go against the law. Understand the law, use the law to your advantage, and you will be successful. So ultimate success in the game of life. But this book, you can get it at TyronePoole38.com, TyronePoole38.com. The book is found all over the place, but I tell people, please, please, please go to my website, because when you go to TyronePoole38.com and you purchase this book, not only does it get personally signed by me, but you're helping me back and help those who want to be like us, that want to be like us. Somebody got to go out there and, do it. So, people, when they buy food, they actually partner with me. So that's one thing. The other thing, I've developed some supplementations, for 12 years, man, 12 plus years as a starter in the NFL, college. My body was my business, man. It was my business. I had to make sure I put the right supplements in my body, got the right amount of sleep, stretched, went to the chiropractor. So I said, you know what? All these people going around taking things that really don't work. How can I impact and tell people, just like with this book, how can I impact people? Well, write a book. Cool. How can I impact people health-wise? Come up with your own nutritional supplement line. Again, my body was my business. I know the principles. I know the principles of maintaining weight, overcoming injuries, and what it takes. So workthatthing.com. Again, got all kinds of supplements, man. So workthatthing.com is where people can get it. And, you know, you purchase your purchases, if they're over a certain amount, then you get a free personal blender, man. You can, you know, be at the gym,
Nice.
work it out, you know, put your mix in, and you don't have to wait because there's a 45-minute window. They say that you're supposed to replenish your muscle after you work out. You don't replenish at 45 to an hour, then your body start cannibalizing itself because it has to get, you know, replenished. So, you know, you take the supplements, work that thing supplements, put it in your personal blender, which can be charged by USB. And man, you're right there to hold you off until you get home. I have a mastermind class that I'm doing August 5th. And people can, again, go to Tyrone Poole 38.com and learn more about that. It's a mindset. Anything you're trying to do, it's a mindset. I came up in poverty. Financial poverty, you know, quit football in high school, man. All that is, you know, again, in this book, you know, people saw the end of Tyrone Poole's movie. You know, you guys only saw me in New England, but you guys don't know the story before I got to Fort Valley, quitting football in high school, you know, but all that, even though I tripped myself up, because I knew who I was, what I had, and what I could do, my mindset, I was able to overcome. So again, the mindset class, August 5th, that's what it's all about. I'm teaching people what I've learned. And I think sports is a great metaphor for life. Principles work for anybody. So whether you got a youth, someone who's young, and you're like, man, I just wish they had a mindset. They got great talent. They just don't have a mindset. Or corporate America. Maybe you're working in corporate America and you know, you're trying to find out, how do I get my company going? How do I get my employees motivated? It's a mindset. It's a mindset. So that's why companies, they bring in athletes to talk, because they want their employees to understand that mindset of commitment, that mindset of passion, that mindset of preparation, because at the end of the day, even in corporate America, they trying to win championships, which means they just trying to make money at the end of the year so they can have that big office party, you know? So again, there's several things that I'm doing, but those are just a few things. And of course, the Tyrone Poole 38 Foundation, you know, it's a 501c3. And, you know, every foundation has a heartbeat, and my heartbeat is for the family, because I feel like if we can correct the family unit, we can make the world better. And what I mean by correcting the family unit, we got a lot of single family homes, man. The father, mother, they're not in their children's lives. So what my foundation tries to do is to bring the families together by holding events like father and daughter, father and son, mother and daughter, mother and son events. And this is what bridges and brings that young daughter back into her mother's life, or that son back into his father's life. And I don't know about you guys, man, but I grew up with my dad in the house, and my mom and dad, and death was the only thing that separated my dad and my mom. My dad passed in 2005, actually during the time when I was injured in New England. So, you know, Brett Favre is not the only one that had to play through, you know, crisis and stuff like that. We've all had to go through it. And, you know, to have my father there in my life, oh man, it's just phenomenal. You know, I love my mom, but man, as a young man, it was nothing like my father being there and coming up and, you know, telling me, boy, look at here. Boy, you made the old man proud today. You made me proud today. You like, man, like your chest stuck out, you know, it stuck out like 100 more inches, man. But, you know, nothing against the mothers. You know, they have their place as well. And the same thing, a mother to her daughter. It's nothing like a mother telling her daughter, oh, you remind me, baby, of when I was your age, and da, 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 da. You're so beautiful, you know? So that's what my foundation tries to do, but I can't do it alone. I can't do it alone, man. Just like these trophies, it takes a team. It takes a team. I got a vision, We talked about Robert Kraft. He had a vision. He brought in other committed people. So that's what my foundation is about. Bring in committed people who want to change individuals' lives locally and globally. So they can do that if they want to donate against a 501c3 organization. Go to Tyrone Poole 38 Foundation.org. Again, it's Tyrone Poole 38 Foundation.org. And actually, I am coming to Boston. I'm gonna do an event in Boston. We're scheduled to set something up this year. Right now, our next event is in Maryland, but we're moving up the East Coast. So I'm coming to Boston. So definitely, gonna let you guys in on it. And man, we get back on the show, promote, and man, just, love to see you guys come there, talk, be a part of, changing the Boston area, man, changing the family structure, whether it's Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. At the end of the day, our youth need to be given direction, man. And, family, I believe, is the way to do it. So that's
absolutely.
Tyrone, we said you were just a football player. You got a lot more going on, man. I think we did you a disservice. So, for sure, ultimate success in the game of life by Tyrone Poole. You can get that at TyronePoole38.com, and make sure you support this guy. And workthatthing.com, just like it's spelled, workthatthing.com.
Yeah, workthatthing.com. And I know sometimes we as our culture, we'll say work that thing, but you know what? I did buy a thing. So I got work that thing. I own it. I own everything that's possibly close to work that thing, but it's work that THAT thing. THING, but you know how we like work that thing. So but either way, I got it covered. So but workthatthing.com, man. Great nutrition. Again, my body was my business, man, and even to this day, I don't put no junk in my body. Yeah. So that's why I think my body's still taking care of me now. So I want to help other people take care of their bodies, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, Tyrone, again, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it, man. You gave us more than enough time, man. And you know what? We're here every week. You're more than welcome to come back, and good luck with your book and, the supplements that you got going on and, your foundation as well. And when you come down here to Boston, I hope you give us an invite, a personal. We're trying to be VIPs in this thing, man.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are already in, man. I'm telling you. Then you guys know the date. That's all that is.
We appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be there.
I already got your picture hanging up on the wall, and we ain't even got the building yet.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Awesome,
that's awesome.
Man.
We're looking forward to it. We're excited. We'll be there. So appreciate y'all.
You have a good night, sir.
All right, man.
Have a good night. Take care.
All right, man. You guys be blessed. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you too. It's great meeting you. Appreciate you. Whew.
Yes, sir. That was a great interview, man. Tyrone got stories for days, man. Tyrone Poole, number 38, Super Bowl winner, won back-to-back Super Bowls, man, with the Patriots. I believe he started all of 2004, and he got injured in 2005, but still came out with another chip, that year. So, like he said, man, make sure you guys are out there, supporting him, getting the book. Ultimate Success in the Game of Life by Tyrone Poole. So that's TyronePoole38.com. Get the cards and stuff, workthatthing.com, man. And make sure you're following us on social media, on all platforms. It's at ProFanSports on all platforms except for Instagram. That's at ProFans_sports. So, we gave you guys a full interview today, so until next time, man, we'll holler at y'all. Peace out.
Peace. Have a good week, everyone. See y'all next week.